Sani, Mr. Yabagi Sani, from an insider in, what do you see has played out here? He said that is saying that the president is biased in his disposition, despite his citing of the Constitution as a premise for his action, given what has played out in Rivers State for the past 2 years. So I want you to speak to this statement or the broadcast of the president, what you felt when you heard it, and what is playing out.
Well, thank you very much. I believe that Mr. President is the number one chief security officer of the country. He has the constitutional rights to ensure that this country is governed in a peaceful manner and ensure that no section of the country is governed differently from what is stated in the Constitution. What has happened to me really portrays the president in a very, very bad light. He didn't act presidential, if you look at that speech, because a president is supposed to act in the interest of all parties. Whenever a president is drawn into such issues that are between two parties that everybody in the world is aware that what is happening in Rivers State is between Governor Fubara and the Man Friday of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is Chief Wike, Nyesom, who was the governor of Rivers State before, now Minister of Federal Capital. So, Mr. President, his speech, of course, relied, heavily on the Constitution, but he failed to exhaust all the provisions of the Constitution, which was to guarantee the democracy that we have, which he says we fought for, and we should also do everything possible to maintain. He didn't, live up to his expectation, because that Constitution that he referred to made provisions for when you have a situation where the House of Assembly is incapacitated, the National Assembly is given the right to take over the functions of the State House of Assembly. And in this particular case, what we are seeing played out is that even when Governor Fubara has agreed, to follow the judgment of the Supreme Court and was ready to present his budget to the House of Assembly, they locked him out and did not allow him to come to the House to make presentation of his budget. So, which means it is not Fubara that is creating the crisis that Mr. President was referring to. It is Nyesom Wike. And I don't know how Mr. President will now, in his speech, if you say I should talk about the speech, he called Fubara as a despotic leader. I don't know who is despotic in this manner now, in this circumstance, because Mr. President he took just one position, and that is to rig 2027 election even before the time, meaning that they want to make sure that the opposition is so, crippled, not only Rivers State. Look at what is happening in Kano State, playing the traditional rulers against each other in order to cripple the opposition wherever the opposition is in power. I don't think this is good for democracy. I don't think Mr. President is fair to us, particularly myself. When I was the chairman of IPAC, I remember I stood up to ensure that we did not have this democracy to be truncated when the counting was going on, and some opposition leaders came out and said they should stop the counting of the election. I said, no, we should continue, because we thought that the man that will inherit that action was a Democrat that will come and save and promote democracy in this country. But today what is happening is a different thing. I mean, we understand when President Bola Ahmed declared, emergency in where I am today, Jos, Plateau State, in 2004, it was because there was a case of conflagration of what was happening in Jos, meaning that the Kano State, there was a reprisal of killing of Christians, which was what happened in this. So President Obasanjo was right to, at that point in time, intervene to save the nation. But in this particular case, we have only a case that affects only one state, and you have provisions in the Constitution that will allow democratic structures in that state to continue. If you want to declare state of emergency, it's fine. But But you can declare state of emergency to take care of the vandalization of the pipelines, which of course is inimical to the economy of this country. Today, I understand we are losing like $35.5 million, per day, which is about $5 billion per day, because of the vandalization.
Indeed,
yes,
Mr. Yabagi.
you can declare, but not the democratic structure.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. That was Engineer Yabagi Sani, the national chairman of the Action Democratic Party and the former national chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, which was the umbrella body of all registered political parties in Nigeria. He was the national chairman of IPAC during the 2023 presidential election. He was speaking with Chinese television on the declaration of state of emergency in River State by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And what made his presentation interesting and why I'm presenting it in this channel is because he made a lot of interesting points that are germane, including the belief that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has started rigging the 2027, allegedly started rigging the 2027 election in River State, even before the election would take place. He was on point on that, and he accused the president of creating crisis in opposition strongholds. Looking at what is happening even in Kano State, where the federal government is interfering in a local matter. Who is the emir of Kano? A responsibility that is supposed to be that of the state government and the local government of Kano State to take care of. But federal government is flexing its muscles now and then, every now and then, trying to upstage the state government led by the New Nigeria People's Party because they want to also destabilize that state the way they have destabilized River State so that they can capture it. That's called state capture ahead of 2027. So Yabagi Sani is in a position to comment on this matter and to also be able to decipher what they are planning to do and what they had already done, especially in respect of River State. It was to capture River State. It was to capture the state, and they have succeeded in doing that. If Nigerians allow President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to get away with it. Now, the essence of bringing this matter up is that the opposition must rally around to force President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reverse the illegality he has committed in the case of River State and restore back democracy and restore back Fubara to his position as the elected governor of River State, because the Supreme Court in 2004 had already said that a sole administrator is an alien to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's an illegality that should not be allowed to stand. So he made a lot of points, and he was able to convince any doubting Thomas that the president did what he did in bad faith. What he did in trying to bring peace in the Rivers crisis was done in bad faith. He was so partisan. I like the way he put it. He acted unpresidential in the speech he delivered to justify the imposition of the state of emergency. He acted unpresidential, and because he was so one-sided, he was so pro Nyesom Wike against being fair. And that was the same role he played when he brokered the 8-point resolution in early 2024, after the crisis began in December 2023. All the 8 points that was articulated as a peace resolution was just stacked against Simi Fubara, and that was what he repeated in the declaration of the state of emergency. He was one-sided, and Yabagi Sani was right also expose him that he failed to exhaust all the constitutional provisions to maintain democracy. Because when he was sworn in on May 29, 2023, Bola Ahmed Tinubu swore to protect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It was not to violate it, but his action, knowing fully well that he was aware of the Supreme Court ruling of 2004, he was aware that Supreme Court frowned at the imposition of sole administrator in Plateau State in 2004. He was aware that the Supreme Court was against the removal of Joshua Darie and the Plateau State House of Assembly. He was aware. Even if his lawyers don't remind him, he should be aware. There were newspaper clippings showing that he condemned the removal of Darie and the State Assembly when Obasanjo did it. So, but he felt he can reap some political dividend, like Yabagi pointed out, ahead of 2027 to capture Rivers State, a state that never liked him. Because if he was sure that Rivers people like him, why do they have to go to all this length to capture the state? It was because many people believe, rightly too, that in reality he wasn't the winner of Rivers State in the 2023 presidential election. At least based on independent tabulation of IRIF report results by the BBC and Premium Times. They say clearly that it was Peter Obi that won that state. So if they cannot get Rivers and they are not sure of getting it again in a free and fair election in 2027, the best option is for them to capture it the way that Yabagi has noted, to capture the state. And you know they lost also in Kano. And you know that strategically in Nigerian politics, nobody has ever been president without winning Kano, at least Kano, Port Rivers, and Lagos. Tinubu is the first person that lost all of them, and still INEC was able to get votes for him to declare him the winner. And even the Lagos that he lost, they think that it was the Igbos resident in Lagos that made them to lose it. But they didn't know that Lagosians don't like him. They don't like godfatherism. It was a revolt against him. And if a free and fair election is done again in Lagos, they will vote against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The only reason why Lagos is not in conflict right now with the federal government is because Lagos is still, and the governor is APC. Even as APC that he is, and is like a boy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Don't you see the way he was being treated in the case of the speakership? How the president humiliated him and brought back Obasa. So they were thinking that it was the Igbos in Lagos that made Tinubu to lose woefully in Lagos with a wide margin, according to independent reports, before INEC narrowed the margin allegedly. So he was blaming the Igbos. That's why where they think that Igbos and those who look like Igbos are living, they are demolishing all of them ahead of 2027. Just in line with what Yabagi was saying. all the things going on, the demolitions in Lagos to drive away the so-called non-indigenous from Lagos using the demolition tactics, the destruction of democracy in Rivers State, the destruction of democracy in Kano State through the interference in a purely local affair in Kano State are all tied down towards takeover of those states by any means. In the case of Lagos, to frighten people that they will not be able to even be in Lagos when the election will take place. Those who are perceived to be non-indigenous. The other day, the governor of Ebonyi State had to send luxurious buses to go and pick their people back home, because where they are living, they have destroyed it. What's the essence of all those things? This is what they are making sure that all those places they perceive are for where non-indigenous are living people. Because when they talk about this non-indigenous, anybody from South, if you are from Edo State, if you are from Delta State, anywhere South East, they put you people in the same bracket. They consider all of you Omo Igbo. So they make sure they are dealing with all those settlements where they are, just to make sure that to send a message. Remember, Bayo and Anoga, at the height of the intimidation of the Igbos in Lagos, said that 2023 will be the last time the Igbos will interfere in Lagos election. It's on record. So all this they are doing, I agree with Yabagi Sani, former national chairman of IPAC, Inter-Party Advisory Council, the umbrella body of all registered political parties in Nigeria. He was the last national chairman before the President Dantali, that is now the national chairman of IPAC. So he was spot on, and that's why I want to share it with us here, that the president want to rig the 2027 election even before the time, given that they want to make sure that there is no opposition in the country, or that the oppositions are crippled. That is what they have done in Rivers. That is what they are doing in Kano. And of course, that is what they are doing using demolition in Lagos, thinking that it was the Igbos. But what is the population of the Igbos in Lagos? Lagos is a predominantly a Yoruba city, and the Yorubas voted massively against him. That ought to have humbled the president, but apparently it didn't humble him. What I think is that he can always get it right using the instrumentality of the state apparatus and then people like Nyesom Wike. Now, there's one mistake all these people used to make when they talk about Tinubu. The other day I think I will do a video about it. El-Rufai said that he knew about the certificate forgery scandal of Tinubu, but they would say that, but the reason why he supported Tinubu was that so that he can repeat what he did in Lagos. What did Tinubu do in Lagos? I will do a documentary to show that Tinubu didn't do nothing in Lagos. The way people are saying it, he said that the reason why he supported Tinubu, despite the fact of his certificate baggage, is because so that he can repeat what he did in Lagos. What did he do in Lagos? Was Lagos a jungle before he get there? You know, but I think I'm going to do a video on it to show that there was nothing special he did in Lagos. That was why Lagosians treat him with disdain. He can't win free and fair election, even in Lagos. They have to use strong tactics, the kind of thing they did to those Igbos and those who look like Igbos in the last governorship election in Lagos State. So they use the mafioso style of intimidation. And Yabagi Sani was right. You can do declaration of state of emergency by without removing the governor and the legislature, which is what Goodluck Ebele Jonathan did in 2013 when he declared state of emergency in Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno State. He did Jonathan did not sack the governor or the House of Assemblies of those states. Because if you say you are doing it, you want to declare state of emergency because of vandalization of pipeline, you do that. But you can't remove the governors. You don't have that powers. You can't remove the state assembly. That's the bottom line of what Yabagi is saying. And most reasonable Nigerians agree with him that was the way to go. And Spring Court in 2004 also showed that was the way to go. Jonathan has shown exemplary leadership that was the way to go. I don't know what to think about this, that Tinubu has started rigging the 2027 election by his imposition of state of emergency in Rivers State. What is your thinking? Where do you stand? Let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.